Good evening. Today is January 14th, 2014. This is the regular meeting of the Oaklawn Board of Trustees, number 2014-01. Please take the roll.
President Barry?
Here.
Trustee STREIT?
Yes.
Trustee Quinlan will not be here tonight. Trustee OLEJNICZAK?
Here.
Trustee Desmond?
Here.
Trustee CARBERRY?
Here.
And Trustee VORDERER?
Here.
We have a quorum. And I'd just like to welcome Dr. Sherry Miller from Fox College with her students tonight, and they're in a government class, so I said they came to the right place, so I hope you enjoy the meeting.
Thank you. Before we start public comments, I'm going to turn the floor over to our village manager, Larry Deachin, for a few preliminary remarks today. Could you...
Are we doing the Pledge of Allegiance?
Oh, let's do the pledge first.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Larry, you have the floor.
Well, thank you, Mayor, Mayor and Board, and I'm pleased to see students from Fox College because Fox College was established in Oaklawn in 1939. And we wish you were here, but maybe if you talk to your professors and the management of your university, they'll want to return to this community. As the board knows, we had a very, very difficult budget year, and we had a increase in the number of public meetings and discussion of some issues to try to balance our budget. These are difficult times for all governments, state, federal, county, and local level. In the process of trying to balance that budget, we had some very difficult choices to make. And we had to work with employee groups across the board, and one of the more difficult ones had to do with our emergency dispatchers. The village is very pleased. We have a fine dispatch center. It's a regional center. It provides services for police and fire in Oaklawn, Burbank, in Evergreen Park, and in Bridgeview, and that's police and fire both. Fire only for Bedford Park, and fire only for Stickney Ridge, Stickney District, which is just north of Midway Airport. All fine customers, and our customers had come to us and said that the costs are rising at a level that we cannot sustain nor afford to continue with your center. Technology costs are driving costs up and labor. So we began a very lengthy negotiations process over 13 months, a lot of give and take on the part of both labor and management. And I'm here to report tonight, and I'd like to thank all of the men and women of our telecommunications center, our attorneys, our professional staff, management team who worked so hard on this, and we have reached a tentative agreement. I'm going to keep my comments brief. We will be preparing a joint statement to approve by both legal counsel, both parties. But in essence, the agreement that's been reached will be to settle all disputes and claims between the parties and to move forward in a fair and just manner for taxpayers, for our employees, and for our private provider, Norcom, which begins those services on January 22nd. So again, I'd like to thank the board. I know that this was not easy. Trustee VORDERER, on a couple occasions, I know you stood very tall and difficult, and you sent a message that talking together here is better than allowing a third party to make a decision on your future. And that's what happened today. 9 hours of mediation. We had an excellent mediator from the Illinois State Labor Board, and we had men and women from both management and labor, and an excellent mediator who sat down back and forth, listened to the facts, tried to understand each other's side, and that's really what it ought to be. It ought to be labor and management talking to each other rather than using third parties that have no connection with this village and make decisions that are tantamount to tax increases. So the process worked here, and I thank the telecommunicators for working with us. Thank you, Mayor.
Great news, Larry. Thank you. I also have some happy news to share before we get started about an Oak Lawn establishment. Everyone was really sad when Flapjacks closed their doors on 111th and Cicero. They realized, the closure was to make room for something even better in Oak Lawn. And I'm very, very excited to say that in the next few days also, you'll see an exciting announcement about their new beginning in Oak Lawn. And we can hardly wait. I love Flapjacks, so some really positive things to start the meeting with. I'm going to move on to our public comments now. Mr. Ronald Kapp, about various matters. Could you please state your name, sir, and if you're an Oak Lawn resident?
My name is Ron Kapp. I live in the 3rd District.
Thank you.
Okay, probably my hair's a mess. I washed it this morning. I can't do anything with it. Besides them making a contribution of labor and money, I would like to know what the qualifications are for the 2 people you appointed for treasurer and his assistant. I mean, did they have like CPA degrees, or did they just take up high school math? How far did their education in that extend? So if they could answer that, I would appreciate it.
Okay. He's not here, so
He's not here?
we'll allow him an opportunity to
Okay.
address that.
The next thing is that the snow we had, last snow, who's responsible for buying 1 load of salt and calling it a day? Because in the past, with the boards we had, when we had the village managers before Larry Deachin, right after a snow, you couldn't eat, the snow was plowed and salted, and that was it. I've used to take my dog and hook him up to the sled, and let my kids sit on the sled and take them tried to take them on the street, but I had to keep them on the sidewalk or on the grass, the parkway. This time, even on 95th Street, my granddaughter was driving to work, I think it was Monday morning or whatever, and she hit her brakes to stop, and she just slid right on through the intersection. Now, 95th Street, Cicero and Central have always been cleared of snow and salt because they are thoroughfares, very heavy thoroughfares. So maybe in your next budget, you might put in for maybe 2 tons of salt instead of 1. Maybe that will work for you. My next question, and this has been bothering me for quite some time, who's responsible for bringing businesses to Oak Lawn?
Every
they keep bringing-
every single person is, sir.
Every single person up there. Why do they keep bringing in doctors, lawyers, medical buildings, banks especially? I think there's probably about 20 banks along 95th Street. Banks, all they do is pay you property tax. You get businesses, let's say, like the one you were just talking about, the Pancake House. They collected a sales tax. All your stores, they collect sales tax. Now we're going to be hurt by Kenwood because in Evergreen Park, they opened up a liquor warehouse. And that's going to be more taxes going to Evergreen Park than would come to Oak Lawn. Evergreen Park, they got a store called Costs. I don't know what it's like. I've never heard of it until they advertised it. But it's another business that they got that Oak Lawn probably could have had but lost out on. So we're going to have Mariano's. Now,
It's your 3 minutes, sir. Yeah.
Huh?
We have a 3-minute limit.
Okay,
so
Mariano's hasn't even begun to dig a hole in the ground. When are they going to start that? Thank you.
Thank you. I believe they've been working very hard underground, sir, and once the weather thaws, I think you'll be impressed what you see. Thank you. Next is Mr. John Thompson. Mr. Thompson, would you like to speak? Okay, we're going to go to John Volakakis. And I can't quite read your writing about the topic, sir. Something variance?
Impervious variances.
Impervious,
Again,
that's what
as
that's-
usual. Happy New Year. If you you would like it to be, but we still got, John Volokakis, Oaklawn. New year, but we're still with the same old problems. I see there's an item on the agenda for a variation for impervious building in Oaklawn. I don't get what it is. Been to a lot of planning development and Board of Trustee meetings trying to explain to people. I don't know, I guess we got to back it up, take a 099 class in flooding. All this impervious, as a lot of people might be aware, all it does is run off people, it causes more runoff on lots, goes into the systems, goes downstream to where the village, the lower areas in the village, and floods people. So, I mean, the current one that's on the agenda is on 98th Street. 98th Street to 102nd Street, where my daughter lives, is a 20-foot drop in elevation. So you guess where all that water goes, okay? So all the times I've been here, all the times I've been to other meetings, all I get is, I have gotten a very nice presentation from somebody, but I don't want a nice presentation. It's hard to believe that out of all these people and planning and development, which I think is usually at least 8 people sitting on that board, and the people sitting on this board, I think probably in the last couple years, there's probably been about 200 to maybe 2, to oppose passing impervious variations. I just don't get it. I don't know how many times it could be explained for people to understand it. I mean, you just don't understand, what it's like. Like the other day when we had the thaw, sitting around waiting for the call that my daughter's flooding and other people in the neighborhood are flooding. You can't live like this, without a whole high level of stress. Every time it rains, you can't go on vacation. You got to make arrangements for somebody to come to your house if it rains, to come and man the pumps, and maybe have to move the furniture, put it on blocks, tear the carburetor up, tear the drywall out. Every time you're anticipating a major storm, I don't know why you can't do what is right. After time after time after time talking about this, I've seen this board go 6-0 in favor of the impervious. I mean, this has been a problem that's been going on for years. Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago has had problems with Oaklawn with all this excess runoff and into the sewer systems, and it's still a problem. And now we got Mariano's coming in, as everybody knows. Right now, all that runoff, they're building that lot up 2 feet higher. All that runoff is going into Wolf Lake, which is part of the Stony Creek East Basin, which all that does is add even more flooding and adds it faster. Granted, there's rain there before, but that lot was so low and so unlevel and so broken up, it probably absorbed the whole lot. Now, we're going to build up even higher and have more runoff. I just don't get it. Like I said, I don't know what it's going to take, for people, to understand how this is contributing. Like I said, you're going to get people that are going to get a benefit of having an add-on family room to play bunko. You're going to have somebody have a nicer garage so they can play with their popcorn wagon in their garage.
3 minutes, please.
Well, in the meantime, people downstream are flooding and losing value, not just money, but losing value on their houses.
Thank you very much. Mr. John Eggert. John is going to talk about the planning and development appointments.
Madam President, trustees.
Are you an Oaklawn resident, sir?
I am, yes.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Item 24C on tonight's agenda refers to planning and development appointments. There were three positions that expired December 31st of 2013. One was a District 5 appointee who was being reappointed. One is an at-large appointee who is being reappointed. And there is a new appointee for District 6 for somebody who will no longer be serving. And there is a 4th appointment for another at-large. I spoke to Chairman Gray this afternoon. He had no knowledge that anybody was being replaced. He had a question as to who or what the purpose of this 4th appointment was, and I would also like to clarify that for both myself, the other members of the commission, and for Chairman Gray. And that was going to be the only comment, except I have 2 more. One is I would like to make it known to the board that we greatly appreciate the service from Mr. Conley on the Planning and Development Commission. He's a very valuable asset, and I hope that because you have him sitting up here, you don't take him away from us. And the last thing is in response to what the gentleman said. Honestly, in 2013, I don't think we had a dozen impervious surface variation applications. We had, for sure, less than 1 a month. So The only question I have is, can we get some clarification on that fourth appointment that's up tonight? Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Absolutely, you certainly will. And thank you for coming out, Jen. Okay, next, Mike Sutko, and you're going to talk about Public Works, I believe, sir.
Yes, good evening, everyone. I'm Mike Sutko from 5th District. I've been a long-time village person, and I'm pretty happy with the way things are going in the village, actually. And I wanted to mention today about Steve Barrett and the Public Works Department. I had planned to come out here a couple months ago when they were very active in the Fall on the Green and Santa on the Green and then the 4th of July parade. Steve and his group do a fabulous job in getting things ready for us to participate in these activities and putting them up and taking them down, and their attitudes are always more than cooperative, and I wanted to thank them for that. But there's a second thing I wanted to mention also, and that is, I don't know if any of you have ever picked up a copy of the minutes that are on the table outside of Jane's office. But I've been on many committees in my life. I have never seen more complete or comprehensive minutes in my life than that taken by Jane Quinlan. And those minutes are available for all of the villagers to look at. And if you ever want to know what's going on, you don't even have to be here. Read the minutes, and they are so precise that you'll really get a lot out of them. So, Jane, thanks for all you do on that.
Thanks a lot, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. And we are done with public comments. Item 4, conflict of interest disclosure. Does any board member have any conflict of interest to disclose with any item on tonight's agenda? Hearing none, we're going to move on to item 5, approval of meeting minutes. This is the special meeting minutes 2013-25, dated December 10th, 2013. May I have a motion, please, on item 5?
Motion to approve, Madam
Properly
President.
moved by trustee Vorder, seconded by trustee Carberry. Any discussion? Please take the roll.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Olejniczak?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Carberry? Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Item 6 is approval of meeting minutes of the special meeting minutes 2013-26, dated December 10th, 2013. May I have a motion on item 6, please?
Motion made, Madam President.
Properly moved by trustee Vorder and seconded by trustee Carberry. Any discussion, please? Take the roll.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Olejniczak?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Carberry?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Moving on to item 7, which is the approval of meeting minutes of the regular meeting minutes 2013-27, dated December 10th, 2013. May I have a motion, please, on item 7?
Motion to approve.
Properly moved by trustee Carberry,
Second.
seconded by trustee Vorderer. Any discussion? Please take the roll.
Trustee Streit?
Yes.
Trustee Olejniczak?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Carberry? Yes. Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Moving on to new business by village trustees, District 1, trustee Desmond.
Thank you, Mayor. As we say farewell to 2013 and welcome in a new 2014, I would like to give just a brief synopsis of what our residents can expect to see as far as new development in Oak Lawn. So as you can see on the screen, we have some new developments, some under construction. We have the new Mariano's on 111th Street. Below that, we have the ongoing construction with Christ Hospital. The next two developments are ongoing. Sorry, excuse me. Here we have the completed Little Company of Mary on 95th Street, opened in spring 2013. Bluestone, just east of Christ Hospital, that also opened 2013. This is a new proposed building right across from Little Company of Mary, also on 95th Street. New development where the current Carpet One Interiors, Christ Hospital. This is a new bank, 95th and McVicker, which is going to be right next to a new Walgreens. 19th and Cicero, Advanced Auto Parts. We have, I believe, 9 new homes under construction in Oak Lawn right now. We have, sorry, excuse me, this one in, I think, Terry, this is in your district. Trustees STREIT, I think we have two new homes, or three new homes going up in your district. I think this is in Carroll's district. Got 2 new homes going up in the 1st district. So it's just a quick synopsis of how times are changing. It shows the confidence the business sector has in the pro-development atmosphere in Oak Lawn. It shows the residential builders are coming back. So with due respect to the gentleman who spoke about the impervious ground conditions, hopefully John and the rest of the P&D Development Committee can take a look at that. One other comment about the recent cold weather and the severe snowstorms. I would just like to commend our public works people, our police officers, our ambulance drivers, firefighters, our salt truck and plough drivers. These guys didn't have the luxury of staying home when the weather got cold. They still had to go out and do their work in brutal conditions. And while all the streets might not have been ploughed the way we would have liked, I know my own street took a little while, but I knew they were going to get there at some stage. You know, when these guys have to take care of every street, from Harlem Avenue to Pulaski, from 87th Street to 111th Street, unfortunately, not every street can be done right away. And now, Larry, please forgive me for saying this. I actually heard that these guys work so hard that even Mr. Deacon was able to keep his car on the road. So, so I think that they will tell you that our public works guys did a better job than their counterparts in Palisades. So with that, I'll conclude my report. Thank you, Mayor.
Wonderful. District 2, please.
How do you follow that? Well, Happy New Year. I just wanted to let the residents know in 2nd District, some of the things that we've been working on and we can look forward to is the turning lane on Central and Southwest Highway. We're through a majority of the work. Right now, we're in property acquisition, and we should be able to break ground sometime in the future.
Yes, we're hoping so.
And that being sometime in the spring or in the summer. We also have on the agenda tonight, the signal modernization of Cicero. Oh, excuse me, you got me so flustered. Cicero and Southwest Highway, which is something that we've been working on for over 2 years. From the neighborhood issue, we've had a couple of major incidences in 2nd District, which are a little bit disturbing, but the police, the fire, and our public works did a great job in making sure that that everybody was taken care of. The police were in on the investigation, were able to take care of finding out who the individual was that was involved in it, and right now we have a suspect that has been charged and is in prison waiting his due process. On a couple of the burglaries that have happened in the local neighborhoods, through fast action of the police, again, another suspect was apprehended. Information was put out throughout the neighborhoods, making the residents aware of exactly how the individual acted and what the residents could do to make their homes safer. So